An emotional and solemn crowd of about 300 gathered at the C.W. Bill Young VA Medical Center for the Bay Pines VA Healthcare System's POW MIA Remembrance Ceremony on September 13th. Official POW MIA insignias and flags were visible with every turn of the head as former prisoners of war, their loved ones, VA leaders, and members of the community recognized the service and sacrifice of those held captive during wartime and those who never returned. Keynote speaker for the hour-long ceremony was retired U.S. Navy pilot Bradley E. Smith. Smith was held captive during the Vietnam War nearly 7 years after his A-4 Skyhawk was shot down by the North Vietnamese Army on March 25, 1966. He was released on February 12, 1973 as part of Operation Homecoming after being held captive 2,516 days. During his speech, he recounted the horrors of captivity, but also spoke to perseverance and the overall will to survive.
In summary of my experience as a prisoner of war, it was a brutal experience. But I learned a lot from it. I'm a much stronger person for it. I know my limits. I know what I can do. I have extreme confidence. I know what's important in my life. It's not money. It's my family, friends, and duty to my country.
Following the speech, Smith and Rolling Thunder Chapter 11 members John Harrison and Larry Caldwell dedicated an FPOW MIA Chair of Honor. The chair will be permanently placed in the medical center as a way to honor and recognize prisoners of war and the 91,000 service members still unaccounted for. Harrison also used the opportunity to present Smith with a POW MIA bracelet. The iconic bracelets were created during the Vietnam War and worn by Americans across the country as a way to remember those held captive and missing in action.
The history of the POW MIA bracelet started in the beginning of Vietnam as soldiers were taken prisoner or missing in action. It was a way of remembering those who were not here anymore, and it has on it the date that they were taken prisoner, if it's known, and their rank. I wore one in a long time before the gentleman that I had came home.
Bay Pines VA leaders plan to make the POW MIA ceremony an annual event as a way to honor and remember the brave men and women that were kept from their families and those who have not yet returned.
We serve veterans 24/7, and sometimes it's easy to forget our purpose, when you do the day in and the day out. So events like these kind of help us remember why we do what we do, why we want to serve back to those who have served for us through their sacrifice and their service in the military.
To learn more about events like this and healthcare services available, please visit www.baypines.va.gov. While you're there, subscribe to receive email updates and connect with us on Facebook and Twitter.